Now, 18-ton debris from a Chinese rocket is on a free fall to Earth from the space, and it is not yet clear where it's going to land. China has reportedly agreed to take responsibility for any damage arising from the debris. According to Dr Geoffrey Okengo, who is an expert in space matters, Kenyan scientists are keenly following on the observations of the debris, whose entry to the atmosphere is expected this weekend. The astrophysicist spoke to Sarafina Robi.
This is the presumed picture of debris and other space junk from a Chinese rocket that has sparked debate. This comes with a sparked debate of debris from a Chinese rocket. The debris from the main segment of the Long March 5B vehicle was used to launch the first module of the Chinese space station. According to the BBC, the US on Thursday said it was watching the path of the object but currently had no plans to shoot it down. Subsequently, the US Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin indirectly criticized China, saying there was a need to make sure that we take those kind of things into consideration. China has reportedly agreed to take responsibility for any damage arising from the debris. We spoke to Dr Geoffrey Okengo to understand the heated debate across the globe on what could have gone wrong.
Security is very important, and the security of a rocket that is launched depends on the type of rocket. The type of rocket that was launched by the Chinese is called the Long March 5B rocket. It's a very simplified model that is not very expensive, but that comes at a cost that after it deploys the experiment that it's sending to space, when it's coming back, it's not automated, and therefore it cannot be controlled. It's just left on its own to come back on its own.
In 2020, similar debris was discovered in Ivory Coast.
Another rocket launched by the Chinese again, which is of the same form like this one, just small remains were detected in Ivory Coast, in a rural area in Ivory Coast. And there were no people there, so just some piece of metal.
With the second debris of the Chinese rocket headed for Earth, the world is pointing a finger to China.
The US and other governments has that the Chinese are a bit careless because such a massive experiment requires that safety is put into consideration.
With the estimated landing of the debris approximated at a latitude of 41.5 degrees north or south, while it's unable to be directed to a safe place.
And when a satellite is in a low orbit, what that means is that the velocity is not very high because of what we call the drag. That is the friction between the air and the rocket itself. So that slows it down. And when it slows it down, because it's orbiting the Earth, it loses altitude. That means it continually becomes lower. It comes lower, it falls. And as that continues, there reaches a point where it will plunge into the Earth's atmosphere.
More importantly, why can't it burn up once it gets to the atmosphere?
The burning up of this debris is a probability. Okay. It depends on the environment and the conditions under which the satellite is falling or the rocket is falling. So you cannot say with certainty that this one is going to burn.
Dr. Okengo expounds on what will happen in case of any damages.
The Chinese will be sued, actually, according to the international space law. They have to take responsibility.
Concerns of space junk and its impact continue to dominate.
But as you say, it's an issue of concern because people are launching small satellites like what Kenya launched a few years ago.
In 2019, Kenya, in partnership with Japan, was able to launch a nano-satellite.
It was launched from Japan. It was a collaboration between our university, the University of Nairobi, and the Italians. okay, and it's just a small piece.
Kenyan scientists call for more advancement in space technology in the country.
The country has not done enough, but the establishment of the Kenya Space Agency is one step forward towards realizing this. But my feeling is that we are too slow. So, in the world of science, it's the country that decides the way they want to move on.
Well, this comes at a time when the Chinese are expected to put up a space station by 2022, with more countries aspiring to launch satellites into space. Now, the statement in question is what mitigation measures are being put in place to avert any dangers in the future. For Channel 1 News, I'm Sarafina Robi.